Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Lost Begotten channel, where we have a hand puppet for no reason, which I'm going to stop now. No, okay. What I have here is stuff I've actually written down, as you can see. And what it is the format I'm suggesting and possibly the content for a petition that I would like for if anybody could link this video to the most recent Keith Olbermann video and Rachel Maddow video or any other sympathetic type news services that aren't Russian paid Bernie Sanders shills. Turks. Yeah, don't bother with them. They won't do anything to unite America, ever. The Young Turks will not do a damn thing to unite anyone, ever. As soon as we start going along with whatever it is they're saying right now, they will change, as they have done from what they used to stand for in the past. I mean, it's okay to support Obama until he gets elected, then you just start agreeing with right-wing propaganda every chance you fucking get. Nah, I don't trust you. But anyways, if you want to keep your ratings high for for the sake of truth and country and world security, that's fine. It'll cost you, though. It has cost you more than you probably realize at this point. So, anyways, sorry for the delay. I'm going to now read what I would like if Emily would pretty please type this for me, or if anybody would like to type their own version of this list and add to it. Mr. Olbermann, if you're watching, I would very much appreciate it if you redid what I'm about to do. And think you'll know what to do with it once I start reading. So I'm just going to shut up and fucking read. Yeah, that makes sense. So, the following list is based purely on non-political, national security, and public trust issues. It is the duty of the Electoral College to make itself aware of foreign propaganda and make their decisions based on facts, else the institution serves no purpose and should be disbanded. Title of the list is Actions and Attributes of Donald Trump that disqualify him from assuming any national or federal public office. As in, if he were not the president right now and he were to apply for a job at the White House, he would not be qualified. Okay? And here is the list. Number 1, threatening a national news correspondent named Megyn Kelly, you might have heard of her, before a presidential debate that he would, quote, unleash his army, his Twitter army, on her. Which, oddly enough, and this relates to other reasons listed here, happens to be largely comprised of not Americans who are really bored, but actually paid Russian trolls from Moscow and St. Petersburg. Um, and now it turns out a lot of Romanian and Bulgarian hackers. But anyway, so number 2, campaign surrogate Corey Lewandowski. Previous to this, campaign surrogate Corey Lewandowski threatened her as well, tweeting, "Let's gut her." Um, to which you all know the response. Megyn Kelly was scared for her life and had to have actual security guards for the entire rest of the campaign. Okay, so number 3, my nose itches. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. Oh, gotta pause it so I can blow my nose. Because when my mustache starts to grow out about this long, my nose hairs start to join it. So, anyways, number 3. In Washington, D.C., Trump International Hotel would be a major conflict of interest that, if played out, if Trump did in fact was allowed to steal the presidency, would cost U.S. taxpayers a minimum of $42 million to settle, and open to further punitive lawsuits, which would basically be disputed by the Trump family against agencies ran by the Trump family. So he would be able to sue himself in order to avoid this conflict of interest. Essentially, if he got rid of the property, he would be able to sue the government for breach of contract to the tune of $42 million, in addition to further punitive damages among various agreements with different agencies and shit like this. And it plays out to be just a big nightmare. Okay, so number 4, Trump University. A total of 3 lawsuits presently, which contend, if analyzed very convincingly, that Donald Trump is essentially a con artist. He is a con man. He habitually lies for profit. He lied the whole campaign, but this isn't about politics. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a con artist, you're not trustworthy enough to be president. You're certainly not trustworthy enough to be a White House intern. It should be the other way around, but somehow it isn't. Number 5. After receiving, number 5 was available for midnight calls from Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. Yes, excuse me. Got to get that right one of these days. But not available for a currently non-disclosed U.S. ally for 11 hours. I'm betting it was the King of Morocco. Because I'm, well, me. And I kind of know. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was the King of Morocco. Okay, which, despite like what most racist white America would think, is actually a really good ally of ours and helped us defeat the Somali pirates. And, like, it's just, generally, it's kind of hard to imagine, like, why we would want to culturally impose ourselves as a condition of their alliance. I'm going to leave it at that. So yeah, I'm trying not to be opinionated here. I'm trying to just give my list. I'm going to stick to my list. So yeah, write down the list. Write down your own list. Make a fucking list. It needs to be a list. Non-political list. And this stuff needs to be on it, that's for sure. Had said private conversations with Putin and the president, the trilateral president, tri-power, the Poseidon of China, basically, the trident of China. Okay, so Putin. Let's just stick to Putin. Had a private conversation with Putin, Vladimir Putin, after receiving a presidential daily brief on Syria, in which our interests and Vladimir Putin's interests are separate. And were we wiretapping this conversation? Like, was this a private conversation? Are we serious? Like, oh my god, how is this happening? Okay, called for illegal Russian intervention on his behalf during a U.S. presidential election, in which he asked for Russian hackers to attack his opponent. And actually, U.S. intelligence services had confirmed those kinds of activities were occurring. Yeah. So, anyways, called for supporters to participate in racial voter suppression by saying, "Watch you know who at the polls." And as evidenced, this actually happened. The vote was suppressed. The voice of the American people was not heard. You know, that is, if you believe that black people should be able to vote. Called for, okay, excuse me. Number 9, violated the long-standing one president tradition regarding foreign policy rule after a top secret briefing in which he decided to change the direction of U.S. foreign policy in a non-informed, non-interagency prepared phone call to said foreign leaders, in which he called upon to influence the to the United States election. This happened. Okay, this fucking happened. Said government, Russia, also that he had asked to hack his opponent, that he quickly and in violation of all normal procedures, and without the consultation of, you know, defense, State Department, anything, changed our foreign policy with a phone call. This country has said on their state media that Russian hackers by the thousands are delighted to participate in the United States electoral process thanks to the voting machines and Donald Trump's wish to, you know, praise Russia for their involvement. Yeah, obviously you need to find a better word that. What I had written there was, the same government asked to hack his opponent also bragged of hacking the election itself. Number 11, The campaign, when objectively analyzed, follows remarkable historical parallels to Adolf Hitler, including the campaign and what seems to be his selection of Steve Bannon as a Goebbels like propaganda minister. He also seems to want to point a fascist to the NSA who does not believe in freedom of speech, has been on air laughing dismissively at a reporter saying that she shouldn't be asking her those questions regarding Russia and national security and, white supremacy groups, which, clearly the reporter had something to be asked about considering, the basic facts of reality today. So, um, yeah, this is where we are. We have a chance to stop Hitler from gaining control of the most powerful nation on earth. What are we going to do? I mean, just take the name Trump off of it. List all the different shit that's happened. Tell me that's not a form of, like, we're gonna build a wall. Um, we're gonna do a bunch of infrastructure. We're gonna we're gonna keep Obamacare. We're gonna, you know, basically cancel trade deals, move into a protectionist policy, while keeping social welfare programs. Not gonna. He says he's not gonna cut any of that. Um, so he's kind of a socialist, right? A stick socialist even. Um, but he's also a white nationalist. So he's a national socialist, and he has his own plane, and he likes to use anger and division at rallies and get people screaming that they want to lock up their opponents, and like. And now he's got what, Goebbels, and what was the other guy's name? Not Goering. But anyways, the historical parallels cannot be denied. I mean, I know a lot of people like to make these accusations, and there have been individual things that have mirrored, um, you know, Hitler in some ways on both sides. Okay, in allegation, but when objectively analyzed, I mean, people saying that Barack Obama is in any way like Hitler is just fucking stupid. Um, but when objectively analyzed, also, saying George Bush was like Hitler is still kind of a little over the top. But saying that this could wind up like Hitler is an understatement. Okay, and this is just the video now. It's not. This isn't supposed to be on the list. I mean, this argument has to be made to some extent, but it can be vague. It can be made without the use of Adolf Hitler's name, and then anybody who knows shit about shit would come to the conclusion, holy fuck, this is Hitler. Only he's more connected to Stalin and has more personal wealth. Has a fucking building that looks like it could fall on top of the UN and smush it. Which is something that I've been, like, dreading the thought of since I made the video after. Oh yeah, he does own that fucking building. Just the other day. So anyway, number 12. I'm really tired. It's really not that late, but yeah. Number 12. When given the chance after becoming the unofficial president-elect, when given the chance to unite the country, he doesn't. He says a couple of things to that effect, but then contradicts himself. He, 12A, appointed a known pillar of Russian-originated and white supremacist, including anti-Semitic propaganda, including misogynist propaganda. 12B. Staff could no longer keep him off Twitter, quote, as if he's seen by his, by the professionals who surround him as mentally unstable. We have to keep him off Twitter? Are you kidding me? 12C refers to the spontaneous democratic protest, considering that he's lost the popular vote by 1 million votes, that broke out within, hours of him, of Hillary Clinton vaguely conceding. These protests start forming because people are like, this is fucking unreal. No, he didn't just win. No. He didn't even, the transition team is having so much fucking trouble because they didn't even think he was going to win. They thought it might be close. That was their best hopes, was for it to be close. Okay? They had no idea that Russia was going to crack so many fucking election machines that they would actually win the states they needed to pull off a fucking electoral upset. But you can tell by the results in Florida, you can tell by the results in Pennsylvania and Ohio that there was hacking going on. And you can tell by the results in Michigan that there has been, I see dead people. And they also speak Russian. And Canadian, eh? I called that shit 3 months ago. Okay, like a while back ago. Like all the states that came up in contention by surprise, I called them. And it's because of what I had intelligence on from my wonderful people on this channel, saying that, dude, people really should know that there's a lot of Russians out here for some fucking reason. Okay? And these wind up becoming battleground states. Just saying. Like Michigan, trust Donald Trump. They're not hurting to the point of insanity. Okay? People ain't hurting that bad. A lot of people getting paid to say that on TV right now. And a lot of people have been paid on TV to say that shit long enough to where there are some people who believe that shit. But anybody who pays attention long enough to see Donald Trump sees his true colors, man. Or they're just racist. Okay? You're either ignorant or you're racist. Because not claiming racism as your own, but still supporting racism, is failing to stand up for other people. And, just like any other ideal, you don't really believe in it unless you're willing to act on it. So, number 12C was about the protesters. Spontaneous protesters are professional, and he blames the media. And 12D claims on 60 Minutes that he would still rather not have the Electoral College, but, since he won, it's okay. That's after he won. He said that. I'd rather not have the Electoral College. Still rather not have the Electoral College is what he said. But, and then I don't know what exactly he said, but he, immediately reversed it. But he still said that. He still said those words that he'd still rather not have the Electoral College. But basically, it's okay because he won, even though he didn't win. Russia fucking cheated. And Hillary Clinton not only won Florida, Pennsylvania, and, I'll give you Ohio, but she won Michigan, and she won Wisconsin. I'll give you Ohio because of the coal thing. Because Hillary Clinton didn't do what I said, which is go around Ohio saying, we're going to do everything we can to get some steel jobs out here to replace, steel jobs or green energy jobs to replace the coal jobs that the new green economy has cost you. And she should have took responsibility for it. She should have went out there and said, I'm sorry. But what I believe in and your jobs are in conflict. There's no way I can reconcile those two facts. But here's what I can do for you. She should have said that, and she didn't. So I'll give you Ohio. But she got Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, really? And frankly, she would have got Georgia, North and South Carolina. She got Virginia. But she would have got Georgia, North and South Carolina if they let black people vote. Which is why, yeah. Ain't Mother Nature a bitch? Well, for me, it's more like life's a bitch and then you marry her. And that's Mother Nature. But number 13. So, equally, if not more important than all of these things, if you, ladies and gentlemen of the Electoral College, allow Donald J. Trump to steal the presidency of the United States of America, the most powerful nation on earth, the leader of the free will, the leader of the free world, and a beacon of hope to all, you will be responsible not just for a possible KGB Trojan horse in the White House, but even should we overcome that, even should we overcome an all-out war with Russia, God forbid it should come to that, allowing Donald Trump to steal the presidency would make every woman in America and around the world feel a little less valuable, feel a little less respected, and a little less equal. And that, by itself, cannot be allowed. It is for that reason that Republicans did not want Bill Clinton in the office, in the White House. Can you be that hypocritical at the cost of every woman on earth? At the cost of your mother, your sisters, your daughters, at the cost of their self-respect. You cannot allow this man to steal the election on the behalf of Vladimir Putin. I was thinking about the Pledge of Allegiance earlier. I wrote down at the end of that, y justicia para todos. ¿Ok? Somos americanos. The United States of America. The Republic. One nation. Under God. Indivisible. Are we? Sure seems like Russia's doing a hell of a job. Have been for quite some time. So, I'm going to get some sleep. Thanks for watching. And please, somebody make a better version of this list. Make a video about it. And make sure Keith Olbermann sees your copy if you don't want to share my copy. Because, my copy sucks. Doesn't suck that bad. Click the little thumbs up button. And when you're watching my videos, please click the thumbs up button. And, if you feel like helping me out a little bit, go back and check and make sure your thumbs up stayed. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on with that bullshit anymore. So, subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for watching. I've seen a lot of subtle clues that there's still hope. And just like I've been saying for a while, if people would have been listening to me for the past week, we could have been promoting this electoral college thing a whole lot more and not letting the media fucking herd our thoughts. Peace.